Otakuans, welcome back to another beautiful episode today, and it's that time of the season again. Tis the season,
Tis the
some would
season.
say. Tis the season, some would say. Jingle bells, you know my Christmas tree and my stuff already up. You already knew November 1st.
Christmas is your favorite holiday. I'm not
It
surprised
would
at all.
it would have been up. Inside stuff is up. Outside stuff ain't up yet
The
because I
most
just haven't
surprising
had that.
part is you waited till November 1st, quite honestly.
No, they went out and did some little pumpkin stuff. She came back and it was up.
It was already
I
Christmas.
said, I said, spooky season is over for you weirdos. It's my time now. Mariah Carey's done thawed out, and jingle bells. Anyways, but tis the season for our season for this season of fall anime in 2025, and I am itching. So, we do for those of y'all who do watch usually our mid seasons. We're short a little of them, and that's only because this season's is heavy on it's heavy on the quality instead of the quantity. I would
Mm.
like to say. There's a few shows that I'll probably be picking up that we may end up adding to our end season review. Things that are kind of gaggy or kind of like kind of here nor there. Speaking of tis the season, like Sanda,
Mm-hmm.
right? But those things I'll probably pick those up at the end, but we really wanted to get some of these really good rated animes out of the way for our tier list. Before we hop into it, like, subscribe, leave a comment, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. And the first one we got on the docket is Hero Without a Class Who Even Needs Skills. This is Kakashi Hatake before he went to the Narutoverse, is all I got to say about this one. So with this, essentially, this anime starts out with one of our main character who ends up going off to his skill ceremony. Think about it as like the grimoire ceremony from Black Clover, where they all go out and get put their hand on the ball or go get their grimoire to go get their skill or their power or their magic, whatever it is. This young man is expected to become something really great, like a sword master, sword god, whatever it is, because his mom is a sword god, which actually we find out later that people don't even know that. Like that's she keeps that a secret, but she's like the best swordsman in the nation, and his dad is like the highest mage in the nation as well. So everybody expects him to get the best skill. And he puts his hand on the little crystal or whatever it is, and he has zero skill, no skill whatsoever. And everybody's super surprised about that. He ends up going back to his farm, and his big, I think it's his big sister, yeah, big
Big
sister is just
sister.
like, I'll take care of you. You ain't gotta worry about nothing. You can mooch off of me your whole life, like whatever. And he's like, nah, they ain't gonna fly with me. They ain't gonna fly with me. And so we get a young man who tells his mom's disappointed, but he said, I still want to practice with the sword. And so he ends up practicing with the sword day in and day out and day in and day out, practicing. They got a bin, which I think is pretty cool. As a parent, I think this is pretty dope. But like they got a whole trunk full of broken swords that
Oh
this
yeah.
man has been practicing with like day in and day out, and he's trying to practice these moves. He ends up running to we think another little boy in the out in public because he's carrying a sword, and he ends up beating up these two little bullies who are messing with this little girl. And then the who we think is a little boy shows up to fight him. He said, "Yeah, you fighting them means nothing, but you're not gonna be able to fight me. Like I got it in the bag." Well, our boy ends up still putting belt to ass. I mean, I think he gets whooped like barely. He barely lose. Our main character barely loses like against this really like prodigal child with a sword, and goes back and ends up learning the signature move. It's like twin blade slash.
Mm-hmm.
Ends up learning the signature move, goes off to train again, ends up meeting the little boy again out in the woods, and sees the little boy about to die, and then ends up saving him with twin blade slash. And then they fight. Little boy's like, "How did you do that?" And he was like, "I just copied you. Like I don't like. I just learned how to use it. I don't know what to tell you. Like I don't have
Copy
my
ninja, copy
yeah."
ninjas. What do you mean?
Yeah, you have a skill, so it limits you. I don't, so I could do three. So I'm not limited. I just use pure strength.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then we get kind of a little bit of a time skip. We ended up finding out that the little boy ends up going off to the sword kingdom. It's like a sword village kingdom ish thing where anybody who's a swordsman goes to go train under the sword, be an adventurer, whatever it is. And then our boy essentially is like, well, until I get to this specific level, I won't go there yet. But then when I do, then I'll go there. He ends up getting to that level. We get a few years later. He ends up getting, growing up, training with the sword, practicing with the sword. He ends up going off into that world. Ends up finding out like, hey, my goal now is to join a guild, to join like to join an adventurers guild, like whichever team or party, whichever. I need to join a party
Mm-hmm.
essentially. He goes to join the parties. All the parties are like, nah, 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 nah. Like, you ain't got a skill. Like, you're not about to join our party. You're not going to join our party. Not to mention, on the road to the sword place, he ends up defending a wagon full of like families against a bunch of monsters, and we can already tell he's like already OP. And so he ends up defending them. He goes off, and this one random girl, not the same girl, not any other girls he's ever met before, keeps pestering him, join my party, join my party, join my party, join my party. And he's like, no, go away, go away. Annoying. Here it reminds him of his little sister or his big sister. He's like, go away. Well, he realizes that no other party wants to join him, so he's just like, or no other party wants him, so he's just like, let me go to my mom's old party because she said if anything fails, I'll go to her old party. Well, as he's going to the big house, the giant house that his mom used to be a part of, the little girl's like right behind him, and she's like, please join my party. He's like, no, I'm gonna go to them and then talk about joining their party. And she's like, what a surprise. Honestly, I caught that. I knew it.
Of
Like,
course.
I had a feeling. I was just like, that's gonna be her party. He's like,
Hmm.
she's like, what a surprise. That's my house. And he's just like, all right,
Fine.
yeah, fine, 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 fine. So he goes in, he signs the paperwork. She's just like, all right, cool. What's your skill? And he's like, what skill? I don't have
I
a
ain't got
skill.
no class. What you want me to do?
Yeah, I don't have a class. I don't know what to tell you. And she's like, yeah, you got to rip this up now. You can't be a part of our party. And then the dad is like drunk. Her dad, like who runs the thing now, is like the twin blade dragon or something like that. He has like one arm. And so he's just like, kid, you might want to just get out of here. Like, even if you are good, like we're just gonna bring you down. And she's like, no, you need to tear that up, so on and so forth. Well, twist of fates here. A girl walks in, very beautiful young lady walks in with red hair, and she's just like, I know you. And he's just like, what? Who are you? And she's just like, it's me. Remember we fought when we were kids in the woods? And he was like, I thought you was a boy. And so the boy that he learned the twin blade slash from, and the boy that he fought with in the woods every single day, was actually a girl back in the day. And this man is a pervert. I mean, this is like, he likes her. He likes her.
No,
He's
he
like,
likes her.
yeah, he
He's
likes her,
very
and
forward too.
he's just like, nah, I think I'm gonna stay. He's like, I think I'm gonna stay. And then she's just like, well, let's find out how strong we are or whatever. And he's just like, okay. She's like, you can't. Then the other girl's like, you can't fight. He has no skills. He has no class. Like he can't do anything. And she's like, nah, he was the most powerful kid. Like he beat me in the past, but I've gotten stronger. Well, then they go down into the little fighting pits, and they end up getting into a duel. He ends up like putting belt to ass to her, and he ends up learning a new skill that she learned. I think it's called um, something like gluttony or berserk or something. What is it? It's something, a skill that she used where she is able to her mana depletion, because apparently, which I think is a really cool insert to this show. It's like everybody has like an infinity, like Gojo. Like
Hmm.
everybody has a certain level of infinity to where they can get hit a bunch and not like feel any damage. But if you're stronger, you can get through that infinity and break it. Well, she has a skill that literally allows her infinity to just be stronger. And so, but he still whoops her and then asks her, "Hey, train me in that skill." She's like, "You don't have a skill there. You can't do it." He's like, "Nah, I'm gonna be able to do it."
Oh,
So
no.
then we end up finding out he copies that skill as well. Fast forwarding through the show, we find out that they're poor. They're down on their luck. They don't have no money. They owe a bunch of people. If they don't win and get this money back, their whole party, their whole guild is going to be taken from them. And so he's like, all right, let's enter into this competition. Let's enter into this competition to win this prize money so we can keep up being the guild. And she's just like, well, I mean, sure, let's do it, but we still probably gonna get whooped. Like it is what it is. He's like, nah, we be alright.
Viscosas.
So they end up. This show is an S to me. I think the show is fantastic. I mean, I don't. There was zero boring about this entire show. I think it was a really good show. So whatever your opinions are on it, I think it's great though so far.
No, I think the show's pretty good. Honestly, it's funny. But funny
Yeah,
makes a difference in a lot of these animes nowadays. Obviously, there's a lot of like common tropes from other animes.
yeah,
Black
yeah.
Clover. What
Mhm.
is what is like when you have just that overpowered hero who can just do sheer willpower, pretty much do
Yeah.
whatever they
It's like a
want.
gag character.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like Mashley. That's what I was thinking of. Like
yeah,
Mashley and stuff
Mash.
like that. I don't have
Yeah,
magic, but I can do what I need to do
yeah,
even without magic.
hmm
It's
yeah,
really good. As for me, I can definitely, I'll be willing to put it at S because, like you said, there's been no boring
Yeah,
parts throughout the whole season. Every step of
yeah,
the way, it's just become funnier and
yeah.
funnier. Every situation that he gets in. So yeah, I could put it in
They
S
can
class.
they could make this. They could make this really bad. Like this could get like with the whole mage part of it.
Mm.
Like it could get bad.
It could slowly get
So
cornier, but I don't think
yeah,
it could be
like it could
truly
get corny.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can see if it does go down, it will go down to just a high A. But right now,
yeah,
low S. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely, definitely.
yeah. I get that one. Oh, so the next one's gonna be on you because I haven't. I mean, we kind of are a little split here. You're a little heavier on what you've watched this season, but this one is going to be the dark history of the reincarnated villainess. So go ahead and take that away.
You know, you just don't want to talk about it. It's okay, bro. We all know you watched the Loki. But no,
Uh,
the dark history of the reincarnated villainess. Honestly, if you like villainous shows, you're gonna like this show. So essentially, how this one goes, we have a girl. Well, when she was a little girl, she wrote a story. You know how young girls they like to write their own little princess story. They're the
mm,
princess, and then all the princes and all the handsome men in the kingdom try to get her heart in the end of the day. Well, she wrote that when she
yeah.
was a little girl. And she had dreams like, I'm going to be a princess. I'm going to be this and that.
Mm,
No one can tell me anything. Well, obviously, she grew up. She grew up to be a
yeah.
regular office worker, 20, 21 years old, and kind of left that life behind her. Well, something happened where I'm pretty sure she died and she was
Huh,
reincarnated into that story that she wrote, into that world. So she's now
yeah.
living in that world. So you're like, okay, she's now in the world. She's going to be the
Yeah.
main character. She's going to be the princess. No,
Yeah.
she actually got reincarnated as the villainess of her story. So
Mm,
in this story,
mm,
the villainess is the little sister of
yeah.
the main princess. So the main
Yeah.
princess, she's everyone loves her. She has this bubbly, charismatic personality. All the men love her. Everybody wants to protect her. She's feeding the homeless and the needy, like shit like that. So it's like, okay, what would be the bad part of the story? Well, the villainess that she wrote, the little sister, wants to kill her. Like she's doing everything that she possibly can to kill
Yeah.
her in the story that she wrote. Well, when our main character gets reincarnated into this world as the villainess, she's like, "Wait, I don't want one. I don't want to be the villainess, obviously, but I don't want to kill her." She's like, she's the main character that I wrote. She's my dream princess type shit. Sometimes it's on borderline like, do you like her, or neither here or there. So she's in the story that she wrote though, everyone turns on her and eventually they kill her because you're trying to kill the princess, you're trying to kill God's glory on the world, so we obviously have to take you out. Well, she's trying to do her best to make sure that she doesn't get killed in the end. So every death flag that she wrote, every end of the story where she could possibly die, she's knowingly saying, hey, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it this way so that they don't end up killing me in the end. So past that, it's really not that much to the story. Each episode or each little string of episodes is, hey, this is the event. I'm trying to avoid my death flag, so I'm going to do things in a certain way. And mind you, she loves her sister. So all the while she's saying, no, I don't hate her. Yeah, I get that in the past that I was a bad guy, but now I really love her because whatever reason. But everybody's like, nah, we don't believe
We
that.
don't
Like literally
prove
the
it.
prince that she's like engaged to, the big sister is engaged to, hired an assassin to be the little sister's butler to basically watch her, and if she does anything wrong or seems
Yeah.
suspicious in any way, his job is to kill her. So the funniest part of the story is her interactions with him and her frantically like, no, I accidentally bumped into her. It wasn't on purpose. I'm not trying to hurt the princess. So it's a pretty decent story. Again, if you like the villainous trope, if you like those
Yeah.
type of stories, it's an isekai. To be fair, I love
Yeah.
isekais, but it's a villainous isekai. And while I do like villainous shows, it the plot isn't really plotting for me. Like I
Yeah.
understand that yes, you wanted to one protect your sister because she has her own death flags that you wrote into her story, so you want to make sure you keep her
Yeah.
alive. But at the bare roots, she's really just trying to make sure that she doesn't get killed because she knows that if
Yeah.
her sister gets hurt or her sister dies,
They're gonna
they're
think
going to
it's her.
blame her and they're going to kill
Yeah.
her. So I would probably put this show as a high B because one is a good villainous show. It's an isekai, it's a decent show.
First B. Okay.
Sometimes the she can be a little annoying, like the whole, oh yeah, I know this, and this. Oh, what did I write in my story again? How is this supposed to play out? Like sometimes it's like, do you remember it or do you not remember it? Like, I would feel like this is like the main priority in your head, remembering every single thing, but she still gets caught off guard with events. Or who is this person again? Did I write this person in the story? Yes, you wrote the person in the story. That's why they're in the story. Stop asking
Like
yourself
you
that
should
every
know.
single
Yeah,
time. So like,
you
even though
should
it's a
definitely
decent
know.
story, like the plot isn't super strong,
Hmm.
and the main character, she can sometimes be annoying. So I'll give
Hmm.
it a B, like a mid B, possible high B. Depends on what else we
Okay.
got in the lineup.
Okay. Cool. First B of the day. We'll see how the rest goes.
Hmm.
So the next one we got on the docket is a Sword Angel Online. I mean, a Wild Last Boss appears. My apologies.
Yo, chill.
I didn't mean to do that. So a Wild Last Boss appears. No, this is actually a really good show. This is kind
Hmm.
of a banger. So Wild Last Boss appears. Essentially starts out with a young guy, and I mean, think about it like any video game isekai show you've ever seen. Like the dude is like the king and or the demon lord of the video game. He ends up beating the game, right? Like I mean, this guy has conquered everything. Like Ainzu Gon, right? Like he's like just beat the game. Like they beat it, but we end up finding out like in the beginning because the first episode starts out with a fight. Like it's our main character, not necessarily our main character. Our main character is playing our gonna be main character, a female kind of angel folk. They call them winged folk,
Hmm.
but they're like angels. And black winged angel. She's fighting off all the heroes. The heroes are like they try and jump her outside, and she's putting belt to behind, but she ends up losing. Like right at the last second, and then our boy sits back in his gaming chair, kind of like we are. He's like, whatever. It is what it
It was a
is. You
good
know what I'm
fight.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
I've been running this game since '06. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. And then a thing pops up on a screen, and it's just like, would you like to? I think it says something like, would you like to reincarnate a hero or something along those lines. He's just like, oh, is this like a DLC? Is this like an add-on? That's weird. And he, like an idiot, well, I guess technically not like an
Like an
idiot, but like an
idiot.
idiot, clicks yes, and then just immediately blacks out and wakes up as his character that he played in the game, the girl with the black wings and super strong. He like looks down and he's like, ah, like I'm a chick, like I'm a girl, and he's just like looking at, he's like, he like touches, he's like, oh my goodness, and then she sees that I guess she sees that all the like there's a king and some knights and everybody, they're like cowering in the corner. He's like, what's going on here? Like what's going on? And then they say like, oh, the hero summoning failed. We accidentally
Whoa.
summoned, I forgot what they called her, like what her name was. It was like the Dark Abyss or something crazy. It was something crazy like the Dark Angel or some nonsense that they used to call her in the game. And she was just like, "Well, let me ask like what's going on." And she's like, "What is it?" And it's funny because every time he goes to speak in a normal language, like in the beginning, he like does this like gravity magic. Like his aura is so strong, his spiritual pressure is so
Spiritual pressure.
is so strong that it just flattens them to the ground, and they're like, "Ah," and she's like, what's wrong? He's like, oh, I didn't mean to, I'm sorry. But then it comes out like, oh, I forgot how weak humans can be, my apologies. And like it just like, and you just find out that the hero summoning, essentially they were trying to summon a hero but accidentally summoned her instead. And I believe this is 200 years in the future.
Yeah, 200
So
years.
200 years, yeah, 200 years in the future. And so she's just like, all right, well, I ain't here to hurt you. I ain't here to conquer no lands no more. I'm just here. I'm just gonna go off and do my own thing now. Ends up going off, like flies out of the building. She's just like, all right, well, this is dope. Like, let's go find out, everything that's going on in this world. And then she's like, oh, I see my old castle, like my old kingdom where I used to have a castle. Goes into her castle, and he's like, wow, this is amazing. So this is like my video game world. This is dope. Chick shows up. She's like, she sits on her throne. The chick shows up. She's like, "Is that you? Is that you?" And she's like, "Who are you?" She's like, "You don't remember me?" And she's like, "No." And she's like, I've been serving at your side since you since you started the kingdom." And he's like, "Oh, this was one of the NPCs that used to just sit there and do nothing like the whole time." And she's like, "Oh yeah, I guess I kind of remember you. It is what it is." Um, and then she's just like, well, we need to find, like, tell me what's happened. And they're like, well, and then we kind of get the backstory on what happened and also what has happened, like throughout the history. And what, because they said, let's go to the library, let's go check out some stuff. And then they had a little talking as well, a little conversation about it. And so what had happened was she was an adventurer in a party who wanted to unite all the kingdoms together under one rule. However, She ended up uniting all the kingdoms under one rule, like the our kid that was playing the video game and the female. She was the queen, essentially, like the queen of all the nations. And but there were some people who did not like the way she was handling things. However, we also find out that he kind of orchestrated this when he was playing the game. So like he not necessarily did he like become evil, because there's a lot of accounts of him actually being a really good and just ruler of the entire world essentially. But he, I think he said at one point he got really bored, and so he went to people who played the heroes. He went to the people who played heroes in the game and said, "Hey, y'all should turn against me and come out and fight me and turn the world against me so we can make this like an epic battle scene and like an epic like things like that." And he ended up losing, and he was just like, such is life. Like it is, ball is ball. I don't know, whatever. And so, but the people in this world, because it's real to them, are just like, well, there are people who didn't like you and people who did. The heroes, now called the seven heroes, essentially turned people's opinions against the ruler and ended up wanting to rule for themselves. So then they attacked her, killed her, this, so on and so forth. And then so on since then, the seven heroes had divided the nation into seven different nations, and they each rule their own individual nations. And then not only has like things gone down, but like also levels have gone down, because we find out when they used to fight, people got to like level cap 1,000. Like people like level 1,000, but now people can barely get to like 180. Like people can barely get to 180 power. And she's just like, all right, well, we need to figure out like, what's going on here. And like, she's pretty much like, let's go find some of these people and go talk to like some of my old friends. And then they end up thinking like, hey, let's go try to get my 12 heavenly stars. So like the 12 stars who used to be part of her entourage or part of their court. I mean, I feel like she's like, I don't really want to run anything anymore, but I'm living here now, so I might as well make the best out of it. And so we need to go find that 12 heavenly stars. They end up going off into one town or city where they feel this is one of the seven heroes that runs this town. Um, End up trying to just get some information. Really, they're information hunting. End up finding out that, hey, this town is actually being attacked by monsters and also being attacked by I think they call them Ares, the god of war or whatever, but not necessarily god of war. I was just that's what his name is. His name is Ares, and Ares is like this tiny little sheep. it's like a tiny, it's like a tiny sheep who she took in at one point and is like has a level to it, and she like raised as like a tiny little sheep or whatever. But we find out Ares is mad, even 200 years later, is mad because the seven heroes ended up killing her master, or yeah, her master. And so Ares is now this giant sheep. I mean, think of Black Clover, right? Where Charmy has her like giant sheep thing that like punches people in the face. One of the first heavenly star, and is like attacking with monsters, waves after waves, and then he uses his golem, which is like a water golem, and then the big sheep fights, and they're starting to like fight and fight. It's like a giant kaiju fight in the middle in the middle of the battlefield. And then she's just like, yeah, I'm gonna stop this. I ain't asked you to defend me. And so she kicks the living dog crap out of her sheep, and he just goes flying across the thing. They end up fighting a little bit, and she's like, "You don't recognize me? Like it's me. I'm your master." And then beats her, and then she's like, "It is you, master." And then turns from a sheep to a little girl, and she's like, "Master." She's like, "I'm so sorry." I absolutely love this show. To be honest, this is another S to me. Like I think it's a S.
Hmm.
Honestly, you're not gonna like the next one I do either, because that one the next one's S as well. If out of anything, out of these three that I've picked, the only one that wouldn't be an S would probably be the Wild Last Boss. That'd probably be like a really high A. There'd be like nothing above it A. But the ones I've watched are absolutely fantastic shows for me. It had everything I needed. But I mean, it would definitely be a high A or a very low S, in my opinion. So
Okay. Okay. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like this one can definitely be, like you said, a low S or a high A as well. Um, do you want me to spoil you? Let me start with
spoil
that.
it.
Do you want me to spoil you
What?
on the show?
Oh, have you read it?
I got some information about it. So
You dabbled? You
do you
dabbled?
do you want to know?
I don't care. It's about the journey, not destination.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
spoiler alert, everybody.
Spoiler gang. No. Um. So something that was really getting my attention about the show was the fact that she kept getting memories. She kept seeing things that she
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know, or
yeah,
she kept seeing things like memories that she don't ever remember ever having. People keep
yeah,
saying things to her. She's like, "Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense." And like the whole interaction, like one big interaction that was really interesting to me, but I just kind of laughed it off because it was made as a joke. How no one remembers
yeah,
her advisor, and it was just a joke in manner, like,
yeah,
"Oh, who are you again?" Like, "Oh, you don't
yeah,
remember me."
yeah.
I
She's
dibbled
broken
and
though.
dabbled. I dibbled
Yeah,
and dabbled. Um, so remember when she made the comment about how she has the ability to take away memories and to
yeah, yeah.
plant new
She can
memories?
transplant and all that stuff. Mm.
What if I were to tell you that there is no male version of the main character? What if I
Oh,
were to
that's
tell you
interesting.
that something is going on in the background? I'm not going to spoil everything, but something is going on in the background where she made a decision to, her and the advisor made a decision to manipulate her memories to make her think that she was reincarnated into another world. But in all actuality, she was never reincarnated into another world.
She
She's
defeated though.
always been that person. Yes, she was defeated. So remember how
Yeah,
when she talked to the guy, the king of that kingdom,
yeah,
and he was,
yeah.
and she's like, "Wait, you don't remember me? You don't remember our memory? Remember anything from the past? You must be a different person." No, because everything that you remember is not real. Like that's just placed memories in your
So
head. That's why he didn't
made
act
it.
the way that she
They
expected.
made a deal. They made a deal together. The lady Azula, I forgot what her name is,
Yeah,
but
like a soul or something.
our main character and her NPC made a deal together
Yeah,
to replace.
I'm not fully sure if, like, I'm pretty sure yes, but I don't know for sure if they made the deal. But the whole thing is to hide who she really is from
Mhm.
a god. Now, I'm not gonna get too deep into that, but knowing that piece of information, knowing the reason why she keeps getting memories and
That's an
seeing
S.
stuff happen,
Yeah,
that brings it up for me. I love a mystery. I
that's an
love to
S.
see
That's an
that
S.
there are underlying
I like.
layers to this
Yeah.
story. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm definitely going to put this one as a S. It has potentially even to jump up to a
Yeah.
high S, but right now
Yeah.
low S. If you want to put it at a
Okay.
high A, I'll be okay with that.
No, low S is good for me right now. This next one, I feel like we would agree on this one because this next one is S too. I'm sorry, this next one is S. So this was my status as an assassin obviously exceeds the heroes. This is our, I mean, this is our very not, I wouldn't say tropey. I think it's tropey, but to a point where they do their own stuff and I like it. So our main character is a kid at school with all the other kids. This man's literally reading Isekai, an Isekai manga as they all get transported to another world. And they all get transported to another world, and they say, "Hey, we need you guys to help us fight the Demon King's army." And this is our main character. This is our tropey isekai main character with his class if he was smart, if he
Hmm.
was actually intelligent, not these dumb guys that will go up on the ball and they're like, "Oh, I'm D," and they're like, "Banish him to the woods," and then we end up finding out he's broken. Like it's none of that. So he ends up running up or they go in there and they said, "Hey, we need you guys to help us fight in the army." This and that. I mean, I don't know about you, but the initial opening, I was like, "Something ain't right." I knew I had a feeling like this kingdom, this king and this girl, this is another mine or whatever her name is. But like something ain't right.
Hmm.
And so they're like, "Hey, everybody, come place your hand on the crystal ball. You'll find out what your skill is or what your class is." And then whoever is the hero, you'll lead them, and then we'll go and lead against the demon army, and we'll kill the demon army. And then as people are going up to check the thing, he was just like somebody made a comment from one of the soldiers said, "Hey, you guys can also check your class if you say like open or class open or something like that. Some voice command. It'll let you see where your class is. So you don't necessarily have to check the ball. You don't have to go up on the ball. This is just to show everybody else what you got because you already got it when you showed up." And so he's like, "Oh, interesting." So he goes, class open. He sees he's an assassin, and he's like, "What's this skill? A hide skill?" And he's like, "Yeah, let me go ahead and sneak out. Let me go ahead and do that." And he's like, "Hide." Immediately becomes invisible. And then he's just like, "I'm not touching this crystal ball. Something ain't right. Something ain't going. Something weird. I'm just gonna hang in the background. I'm gonna be invisible. We're gonna see what's happening." Well, one of the holy knights, like the main holy knight, the commander of the army, we see that he can see him. He can sense him. He sees him walking out the door. He's just like, what's that, Leonardo DiCaprio? Like, oh, 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 he sees him. He doesn't say anything. He sees them walk out, and then we kind of get a little montage of all of them finding, like, going to their rooms, going to the armory, all these things. And he's with them, but he's still invisible. Like, nobody can sense him there. They're going to lunch. He's still invisible. He's just like, I just need to peep game and see what's going on because something's kind of sketchy here. Well, we get another point where they're all going to training. He comes out. He's like, I don't need all this nonsense. I'll go train on my own. Well, he's sitting by the little water fountain, and the commander of the army shows up. Commander of the army shows up, and he's just like, oh, sneaking off on your own, huh? And he's just like,
You can see me.
you can see me? And he's like, you don't need to drop your skill. Yes, I can see you. I think he said he had like Holy Eye or Heaven's Eye or something like that, where he can just see, he can see like heat signatures. And he's just like, so yeah, I can see you. I'm not gonna out you. Like, chill out. I ain't gonna out you. It is what it is. And then we get a little bromance start to brew, right? We get a little something something bromance start to brew, and he's just like, hey, like I'll train you. Like, essentially, he was like, hey, you want to be strong, you want to be, able to do these things and stuff like that. All I need is for you to help me when I need it. And he's just like, all right, straight. And so we get another little montage of him training him, like with the sword, with his skills, learn how to use his skills better, so on and so forth. And then we find out that the he hears, or he's sneaking around the castle as this is going on, and he hears that the king and the princess, or whatever her name is, like, they're running some kind of scheme. He doesn't know what it is, and so he's like, well, let me sneak into the king's little domicile and see what's going on. And he's behind them as they're speaking in the king's bedroom. The king's like, you don't need to tell anybody what's going on. You don't need to tell them, like, that we're using them. We're essentially using them to get what we want and things like that. And like that they're essentially bewitched. Essentially, like, they're bewitching people, and like the girl is not a good girl. And so she leaves, and then he's like sitting back there, and he got a knife, and he's just like, I could just, and then we get him coming back out to, he just leaves, and then he goes back to the Holy Knight Commander, and the Holy Knight Commander is like, hey, you want to learn things about this kingdom and learn all this stuff, you can go to the libraries. Well, he snuck into like the other libraries that people ain't supposed to go into because he's invisible, ends up learning a lot, but then he ends up finding a book that the Holy Knight Commander wrote about staging a coup, like staging a coup and like getting rid of the king. He's like, hey, I found this. He's like, I figured you would. He's like, I'm gonna need your help, doing this. And he was like, well, I don't want to kill people. When I heard that, I was like, my brother in Christ,
Aren't you an assassin?
like
Kill him with
let's
kindness.
not.
Kill him
But
with kindness.
I'm not holding my breath, only because when the first initial scene we get, which is like later down the road, this man like slaughters somebody on a rooftop. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm not too concerned about it. Um, well, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna need your help. Like, I gotta stage a coup, but it has to be the right way. I can't just do it. He's like, I could just go kill them. He's like, nah, because if you just kill them, it's gonna be something's gonna be weird. You know what I'm saying? Something's gonna be off. And then he goes and he's just like, all right, well, let's figure something out. Let's figure out how to do this. You stick with me, I'll stick with you. And then they kind of stick together, more training, more training. Well, he ends up running up one of these days. Everybody's like screaming and crying or whatever. He runs up and he's just like, what's going on here? And then he's just like, he sees his boy, the Knight Commander, dead on the ground. He sees him like knife in his back, and then everybody starts pointing to him, like pointing to him, like, you did it, you did it, you did it. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, you're with him all the time, and you're an assassin, and this and that. You're the only one that's able to kill him. So they all turn against him, like every single one of them turn against him. Well, the Knight Commander's lieutenant is on the Knight Commander side as well. And he's like, hey, brother, just like, he turns invisible. He's like, hey, just get out of here. I got provisions for you. I got all this stuff. Ends up running a note to him saying like, hey, these people have actually been bewitched. And so runs up to the girl who was bewitching all them. She got like the little, I think they're crystals, right? Like little red crystals or something like that.
Mm.
Ends up slashing the crystals of a couple of them. Slashes his own crystal. Slashes the crystal of somebody else. I forgot who it was. But he slashes like two crystals. Um, he's like, I got provisions for you. Go get the money, go get the bag, go get all the stuff. Like, he knew this was going to happen. And so our boy dips out. Our boy dips out of the kingdom, and they end up getting, there's an ability for his bewitchment, or there's an ability that the lieutenant does in order to get some of them unbewitched. So he gets like a party of the classmates, the hero, and like I think like five or four others, like four or five others
Mm.
together, and he uses the mind. It's like mind manipulation. He said my manipulation is stronger than her bewitchment, so he unbewitches them. The hero party that leaves the class, and they end up going off, and they're just like, hey, we're gonna leave too because we know they end up finding out about the bewitchment as well. We're gonna go out and go find him. We're gonna get stronger to fight the demon lord because they still think the demon lord's a thing, but we're also gonna try to go out and find him because we know that we were bewitched and he might not have been the one that killed him, and so we're gonna go out and find him. Our main character goes to the dungeon. He's like, hey, if you ever need to go somewhere to like chill, you need to go to the dungeon. And this is kind of like a filled your frames kind of thing, right? Where he goes and lives in the dungeon, fights monsters, fight monsters, go and lives in the dungeon, fights monsters with his skills, fights monsters, ends up saving a girl. He ends up saving this girl from some monsters. She ends up following him around. Um, and then we kind of get to a point where his goal now is to get as strong as he can to find out what's really going on in the kingdom while this girl is following him around. And then the hero and his party are trying to find them, and they're trying to link up, but they're like, hey, we'll see them when we see them. And we'll get there when we get there. But our assassin dude is like super strong, super OP. This is another S for me. Like, this is another S. I mean, the fighting is legit. It's constant and ever flowing. I think his skills are absolutely amazing. He's actually smart, so him disappearing in the beginning, I think, really got me in the first place. He's like, I'm not touching that crystal ball. What the hell? Like, I'm not going up there. The kingdom is obviously bad. The girl is obviously bad. She's bewitching people. There's some kind of mystery that's going on in the kingdom. Maybe there is a demon king. Maybe there isn't a demon king. Like, we don't know what's really going on, but they're trying to use these people's skills to like get them. And like 70% of his class is still back in the kingdom bewitched. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they're still under mind control. And so we need to find out how we're going to kind of get there. And this kind of gives me like Ari Futera and Failure Frame vibes, like Ari Futera, Failure Frame, like a bunch of those different kinds of ones. And it is a bit tropey. It's kind of like the rest of them, but I still think it's a great show. I think the show is absolutely fantastic. It has its own little things that make it not as tropey as the others. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
No, no, I think this one is good. I probably, honestly, I probably would have put this one as a high A compared
really?
to the other two. I think this one, it has room for improvement, but where what
Yeah.
we've covered so far is like we're just in the beginning. We have no idea.
Yeah.
Him as a main character, high A. That's why him
Mm,
as a main, possibly even a S. But with
okay.
everything else going on, it's just like I need to know more, and I know
Yeah.
it's going to continue to get better because obviously we saw the little future scene where he was fighting the dude up on top of the rooftop. He's going to
Yeah.
become way more OP, and I know that's definitely the point where I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, this is definitely an S. But right now, honestly, I feel like it's a good
I
high A.
can I can give you high A because it's we haven't really developed like the other stories have. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's the development hasn't gotten there yet. We're just in the setup. We were in the setup phase
Yeah.
for what is really about to happen. So I can definitely give you that one.
Okay.
As long
Okay.
as there ain't nothing above it. Because it's a good show.
Well, speaking
Um
of, go ahead.
no.
Go
Well,
ahead.
the next one is yours. So we got may I ask for one final thing?
May I add for one final thing is somewhat of a villainous story. I like villainous stories. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Somewhat of a villainous story. In this one, I'm just gonna kind of not go from beginning to end, but kind of the relevant parts. When she was a younger girl, probably like around 12, 14 years old, some pompous prince came up to her and said, you're going to be mine. I own you now. You're going to be my wife one day. We're engaged. And it is what it is. Now, her personality, she's like, I want to punch this motherfucker in his face. Like, I really want to
Mm,
beat the shit out of him, but because
mm,
she's a respectable noble,
mm,
where she in there at like a big dinner party, and obviously he's the prince
yeah.
of the kingdom. She's like, she didn't say anything. She said, yes, yes, sir, yes, you know what I mean. And then we kind of get a time skip to when they're like in high school. Like mind you, we don't stay there, but they're in high school, and he still treats her like shit. Kind of like makes fun of her, bullies her, but at the end of the day, like you're gonna be my wife. We're engaged to each other, and she just like lets him do his thing. While they're in high school, though, like this small little clip of this, she's at the top of her class. Mind you, in this world, magic does exist, monsters exist, and all these things. She's at the top of her class when it comes to academics, when it comes to magic, when it comes to fighting, everything. Well, here comes the that same princess, his big brother. Now, his big brother is the crown prince. He's going to be the king one day. So he starts to make his way into the show where she first notices him when she's always been number one. Now she's number two. And she makes the comment like, "Oh, of course, he's a crown prince. Of course they're going to give him the number one. But he's actually skilled." But she's like, "You know what? I don't care. I'm going to make sure I take that number one spot again." So she ends up taking the number one spot again before they graduate. And he comes along like, "Oh, it seems that you're top of the class again." And she's like, "Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm skilled." And he patronizes. He's like, "Oh, good job. Like little head pat. Good job. I'm proud of you." And she's like, you son of a you son of a bitch, what?" So we get a time skip again where now they're probably like in their 20s and they're like at some big dinner party. Not even a dinner party. It was
Ball.
that little brother prince, the one that she's engaged to, was having like a party or maybe like dinner
Mhm.
party with all the nobles who were like part of his faction. So
So like
back
a ball. Yeah.
yeah, like kind of like a boss. So the backstory on the kingdom itself, obviously the one who like patronizes her, he's the crown prince, and he's gonna take the king role eventually. And
Right.
then the little
Right.
brother, he's not. Well, he doesn't like that. He and there's obviously nobles who are going to be a part of his faction because he's the faction of, hey, you want to have slaves, we're going to have slaves. Do you want to be corrupt? We're going to be corrupt. Whatever you want, just help me become the king one day. So basically, he gathered all his nobles up. They're all in one big room, and like they're having a little dinner party. Well, at this
Fantastic.
dinner
Cool.
party, he says he ends up like revealing to our main character like, "Hey, I don't want you no more. I don't want to marry you. This is the girl I'm going to marry. You can go on and live your life. I don't care what you do. Go die in the ditch for
Hmm.
all I care." That's all she needed to hear. She then proceeds to like, "Oh, really?" She puts on her gloves with like the metal knuckles on it. She's like, "Oh, okay. So you think you're gonna embarrass me, treat me like shit my whole life, and
Make
I'm
me.
just gonna let you walk away with that?" And then she looks at everybody in the crowd like, "And all of you, you're all a part of this. Y'all also allowed him to patronize me, laughed at me, treated me like shit." Bet
Mm.
she beats the shit out of everybody in the room. Everybody, like bodies flying, heads going through the wall, like it's
Bodies, bodies, bodies.
hilarious. It's
Him,
literally
her,
hilarious.
him.
So after she gets done beating everybody ass, the crown prince walks in with her big brother. Like, think of
Yeah.
the big brother as the type like, "Oh, you need to be a good woman so that one of the
Yeah.
princes marry you one day and you can settle down and have a family." He's that type of big brother. And the crown prince walks in like, "Oh, seems like you had yourself a time in here." He's like, "Well, they embarrassed me, so I had to get my just desserts." He's like, "Okay, okay." And then the brother's like, "Why would you do this? Our family's gonna now be ruined." He's like, "Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I'm sure they deserve the ass whooping that they receive." So
Yeah.
continue to move forward in the story. One thing I want to point out, like the crown prince, obviously he's been very patronizing to her this whole time.
Yeah.
He likes her, but the way he likes to put it across is she's like his favorite little pet. Like he has this
Mm.
personality where nothing in this world really excites me. Everything's
Yeah.
boring. I'm going to be the king one
Yeah.
day, but
Mm.
you, there's something about you. I like you. So you're my
Mm.
favorite. He calls her my favorite little plaything, my favorite little pet. You're here for my
There you go.
entertainment. Like he constantly patronizes her, and she just wants to beat the shit out of him. But Crown Prince, I'm not going to do it. You're not really doing anything bad to me. It's
Yeah.
just how you say
Yeah.
the words. I don't like the way you say the
Yeah.
words. And obviously, she kind of likes him too, but obviously, he pisses her off. So
Yeah. Yeah.
constantly, I
Yeah.
just want to beat the shit out of you,
And then love-hate relationships. Yeah. Yeah.
essentially. But they don't really get together. Like, so from this point on, the story kind of takes a turn to the Crown Prince. He wants to make the kingdom better. He wants to travel to the slums. He wants to go to the all the
Mm.
corruption. He wants to deal with the corruption, deal with the corrupted church, deal with the corrupted nobles. He wants to take care of all that. Well, he recognizes that, hey, she got them hands. And mind you, like I said before, this is the world of magic, swords, monsters. So she has magic. So in this world, they have something called blessings, and everybody's blessing is different. Well, her blessing allows her to essentially either slow down time or speed up time. So she uses this to obviously become a lot faster, to slow people down, to beat the shit out of them. Like there's one scene where they end up confronting this corrupted noble who was like the head of the slave trade in the kingdom. So he created a situation where she can confront him one on one, and then she's like, "Okay, go ahead, overclock." And then beats the shit out of him, and then obviously return times, and he goes flying, crashes into the wall, and obviously the crown prince show up, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you. You did what I've needed you to do, patronizing shit again." So this story is essentially how he has now turned her into his little lapdog, who beats the shit out of everybody he needs her to beat the shit out of. We got a corrupted religion out there. Hey, go beat up the nobles. I mean, not the nobles, the like the priests who are part of that religion, who are essentially
Who's like
trying to take over the
his little
kingdom,
assassin.
essentially. And she
Yeah.
kills people. Like she says, "Oh, I'm not trying to kill anybody," but if you put half of somebody's body through a fucking brick wall, they're dead.
Oh, it's kind of like the
They're dead.
Spider-Man video games where you see somebody, or you see like Spider-Man beat someone.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
the Robin double knee drop on somebody, but I don't kill people. You just double
Exactly,
knee drop on
exactly that.
somebody.
So it's a pretty good story. Like the plot is pretty decent. Like
It
the
actually sounds interesting.
that's why I was saying this one is
Yeah,
one that you would probably like definitely more than the villainous
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
So again, his whole objective is to get rid of all the corruption in the kingdom, whether it's the nobles, whether it's the religion, whether it's
Mm,
just people in a shitty situation that doesn't get better because of their situation. He
I
wants to
got
fix that, and he drags her along so that she can fix that with her hands because she's
you.
all she literally every time anyone sees her is like, oh god, it's the red demon, because she wears a little red dress and she just beats the shit out of everybody that she sees.
That's actually kind of
Everyone's
funny.
afraid of her. And then you have
That's
the
funny.
relationship with the brother where he's like super overprotective and wants her to be a
Yeah,
lady and not this way, so she's like, oh no brother, I won't do anything like that. And then the
yeah.
next second later, she's beating the shit out of someone, and someone's yelling, the red devil is killing them!" And he's like, "No!" And he runs around the corner to stop her once again. So it's a pretty funny anime. I enjoy the
Okay,
anime. The plot is pretty
okay,
decent. The main character, I love her. So I'm definitely putting this one as
okay.
A. Easy peasy for
It
me.
sounds like it. I'm definitely gonna have to check that one out. I'm definitely have to peep that one because that seems good. That
It's pretty
seems like
decent.
something I'll definitely try to check it out with the wife too. She might actually like that. So,
Definitely, definitely.
the next one's yours as well. So, I gather something I just kind of stayed away from because I just felt like I knew exactly what was going to happen this show. I could probably give a synopsis on it without even watching it, but it's a gatherer's adventure in Isekai.
Okay, okay.
So,
I like this one. I actually binged this one just today. Like in like
okay.
2 hours, I've been into all the episodes. So, Gatherer's Adventure in Isekai. So the guy, he obviously dies in our world, and then he gets reincarnated. He gets to the platform where he's speaking to the god, and the god's like, "Hey, what type of skills would you
Yeah,
like? What can I give you
I
to
want the
kind of make
easy
your life
life.
better?" And he's like, I don't really know. You would think so. No. He's like, okay, well, to make money, you might want to gather things. So I'm going to give you the gathering ability, and I'm also going to give you the scouting ability, and I'm going to give you this perk to make this one easier. I'm going to give you the ultimate magic that you can possibly have. He's like, whoa, I don't need all that. He's like, it's okay. I probably gave you too much, but it is what it is. And then he sends him off into this world. He gets into this world and he wakes up in the tree. And one thing, he's like really tall. Like I don't even understand the reason behind that, but he's like super. Like people make comments on it all the time, like how tall he is. But he goes around just like picking up mushrooms, picking up different rocks and stones, and like taking it to the village just so that he can make money. And they start to say like, "Wow, you're obviously he's a gatherer. You're obviously getting the best of the best. How is this even possible?" Like, I kind of do what I do. Well, continue to move forward. He realizes like, hey, I'm starting to find more important things, so I want to like go to like a actual big city so I can start to sell my ware. Well, before he goes to a big city, he ends up like he's like on a mission to like find mithril. So he goes down into this ravine and he's like finding like some basic stuff on the outside. He's like, I'm looking for mithril though. I need to look deeper. So he uses a fireball. Like uses magic to create a fireball and it starts to move towards like the rock face, and then he says explosion, and it completely blows up and it reveals a like a little cavern, like a little cave. So he goes into the cave and he's like finding all the mithril, and they're like, wow, this is like I hit the mother lode. And he eventually gets to like this big lake and he's like, wow, this water looks amazing. Like this is the clearest water I've ever seen. So he uses his scan ability to kind of see like what are the properties of this. Well, it's mana water. And it tells the story that hey, this mana water is created from washing over a what is it, legend, like a legendary dragon or ancient dragon. So this mana water is created because it washed over an ancient dragon for so many years, like 2,000 years or something like that, and now it has the properties of mana that it can boost your abilities, it can make you stronger, but if you drink too much of it, obviously you'll get mana poisoning. So he's like, oh, this is great. And while he's like looking at the water, like you hear somebody in the background, like, hey, hey, are you listening to me? Don't ignore me. Like, who are you? What are you doing here? And then he finally like looks up, and it's the dragon. The ancient dragon has now appeared in front of him, and he's like, wait, are you not afraid of me? Usually when the humans see me, like my pressure alone makes them get to their knees, or at least they pass out in fear or try to run away. But it doesn't seem like you're afraid of me at all. And he's like, no, no. He starts to even like do the whole Japanese bowing to him, like, hey, I'm sorry that I intruded upon your home. He's like, hey, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You seem to be very powerful, so I want you to actually help me hatch my egg. So he has the dragon has a he doesn't know if it's a man or a female. It has a male voice, but he doesn't know if it's a man or female. He's like, I need you to hatch my egg because where I am, because of the mono water, it's too much for the egg, so it's not creating a good environment for the egg to actually hatch. So he says, so I see that you're powerful. Obviously, you have a lot of magic heals in your body. Can you hatch the egg for me? So he gives him the egg. He like holds the egg and he's like, what am I supposed to do with it? And like, well, knowing eggs from my world, you need to incubate them. You need to heat them up so that they can actually hatch. So he does that using his magic. Uses his magic to heat the egg up, and then it hatches, and there's a small little dragon in there. Well, obviously the dragon is like, oh, you hatched me, so now I'm fully attached to you. He's like, yes, take my son, and allow him to go on adventures with it. Like he's a super powerful ancient dragon. So he lets it go on adventure on leave with him, and they go back to the village, the first village that he went to, and like, oh, the guy, that's the dragon, it's the ancient dragon. He's like, yeah. He's like, why do you have an ancient dragon, and why are you able to do all these crazy powerful things? He's like, oh, I just can't. He's like, well, you need to sell this mithril because he now has the mithril. You need to sell this at that
Yeah.
big town. He's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the big town now. Before he leaves, though, he gets a piece of that mithril and he uses his magic to combine it with a lantern, so that if you light it, the whole town will be a part of like a protective barrier. So he's like, hey, this is my gift to y'all. I'm gonna you use this, put it in the middle of your town, so they'll protect you from any type of monsters. I want to return, and I want to make sure that when I return, you all aren't dead. Apparently, people just die randomly in this world. Goes
Like
to the,
D&D. Got it.
essentially goes to the main city. He finds like people or the different entities that he needs to sell his wares to. He's killing big ass rock dragons, big old griffins and things like that. So of course, the whole trope. He gets there and he's like, hey. Oh, he also joins the adventure guild. He's like, hey, I've killed all these things. Can I get this rank? And they're like, oh, you need to have some type of proof for that. He's like, okay. Pulls out his item bag and a big ass griffin drops it on the table. No, a big ass crab drops on the table. Like, oh, okay, okay. I guess you are that powerful. It's like, yeah, I'm kind of that powerful. So they obviously allow him to become an adventurer, and then he continues on with his story. Kind of gets a little boring in the middle here, but until he finally meets this dragonkin. So if he heard like people have met him and saw that he has his own little dragon pet, so they said, "Oh, are you like dragonkin or something like that?" He's like, "No," and because of how tall he is, he's like, "No, just I met this little beast and I want him to travel around with me." And he's like, "Oh, okay then." Well, he meets the dragonkin, and the dragonkin's like damaged, like he got attacked many years ago, and he's not able to reach his full form. Well, they start to get this little relationship, like little brotherly relationship. And then one day, like they're out on like a venture, and a village is starting to get attacked. Like monsters start showing up, all these different goblins. So the Dragon King's like, hey, you stay here. I'm gonna go fight the monster because you're a gatherer. You're not a fighter. He's like, okay then. Well, he goes out there, and then he's like, actually, I should probably go help because I am freaking OP. So him and his little dragon pet go out there, and the dragon's obviously using thunder, electricity to kill all the goblins and everything. Well, he finds the dragonkin out in the middle forest, and he's getting jumped by the little goblins, and they're like slashing at him. He's on death's doorstep, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna heal you." So he throws some of the mana water because he took some from the cave. He throws some of that mana water onto him, and then he uses healing magic. We end up finding out later that he used advanced healing magic, which many people aren't even able to do. And he
Of course.
heals the dragonkin. Well, when he heals him, he actually healed him of all his scars. And because he healed him of all his scars, now the dragonkin is able to reach his full potential again, turning into a big old black ironclad dragon,
So
and
he
then
evolved.
fighting. Yeah, well, he didn't evolve. He's like able to go into that form. So he was able to go into that form and then defeat all the monsters and everything around him.
That's
That's
what I
where
need.
the show left off. Now, it is it started off as a slice of life. So the first 5 episodes, like this is really slice of life. Like he like fights goblins, but just like more of a self defense type of thing. It seems very slice of life until we met the Dragon Kin, and obviously the actual fights were happening. Then his dragon, his little small baby dragon, is attacking monsters too. So I'm like, okay, are we moving into less of a slice of life? I don't believe so. They haven't like said that hey, there's a demon lord that we need to defeat. There's no like big monster that needs to be defeated. It's just him living life, killing monsters in order to gather their ingredients or gather their drops so that he can sell those to
Yeah.
make a living. Looking at like the little thumbnail for the show, it shows that the Dragon King is part of his party, the little baby dragon, and 2 other women. So I know eventually they're going to make an adventure party, but right now it's real slice of life, and that's okay because it's been pretty
Yeah.
decent. It hasn't been a boring
That's what you
story.
like.
It's just been
Yeah.
a real smooth story. Him progressing
Yeah.
as what was supposed to be a real mundane, peaceful life to now things are getting a little bit more exciting.
As usual. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So right now, not just not being hopeful because I have a problem with being hopeful of what's to come. I'm
Yeah.
going to put it as a high B. Now I'm
Okay.
sure there are people who've seen it and they're like, wow, that's low. I definitely would have put it at least as an A. Right now,
Yeah.
for me, I feel like it's going to be an A, but where
Yeah.
we are currently in the story, we're just not there yet. I think I'm just on the cusp of it's now going to start to get a little bit
Yeah.
more exciting. So
Okay.
high B, yeah.
All right, so the last one I got for me is going to be Disney's Twisted Wonderland. This show was a video game, is a video game that came out in Japan. I mean, I'm sure you could play it anywhere, but it's really just a video game. And this is about a academy or academy called Night Raven College, where each one of these houses. So think about it like Disney Harry Potter. So they each have houses, which you have like the Scar House, the Maleficent House, the Queen of Hearts house. All these old villains are represented in these different houses at Night Raven College. And then the dorm leaders of this college are essentially the embodiment of what those old villains stood for, in that like in their respected dorms. And so this is like your villain academy essentially. And the first episode, this show only has like 2 episodes now. The second episode just dropped. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but it's not like our episodes with our other shows that have like 5 out right now, because they're taking their sweet time putting these episodes out. But our story essentially revolves around our main character who's in our world or the real world and ends up getting transported to this villain academy to be the next, I guess, to be the next candidate to join one of the houses. And then we get essentially the whole, like, I think it's like a little cat, fire demon cat. I think it's a cat, right? I can't remember if it's a cat or not. But it's like a fire demon cat like shows up and is just like, let me be a part of the house. And they're just like, no, you're
Mm.
tiny and stupid. Like you're not strong. And then he proceeds to burn the entire ballroom down. And then the Queen of Hearts dude ends up beating the cat or kind of like capturing him, the dude that is in charge of the Queen of Hearts dorm. And the dude's like, I don't even, the main character, our main character is like, I don't even want to be here. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't even want to be here. And they're like, you're turning down an invitation to join this prestigious college and this and that. And so that's, I mean, at the end of that's really all you get from episode one. It's really about Disney Twisted Wonderland, or like it's gonna be about Night Raven College. It's a villain academy for Disney villains, essentially, or for the legacies of Disney of these old Disney villains. And so it's gonna be a very much heavy academy. I'm gonna watch it only because one, I know my wife's gonna want to watch it because it's Disney, and then two, because like I do like Disney, and I think the whole Twisted Wonderland thing is a very good concept. I'm just not looking forward to the Academy side of it. So that's just me.
That's gonna
But
be the show, bro.
the first episode was good, but like even with the second episode out, like you can't, I don't know if I can rate this yet. Like, I mean, it was cool. Like, don't get me wrong, the first episode was dope. Like, the animation is great. They're basing it like the guy who is supposed to be the embodiment of Scar is, I mean, embody Scar. The
Hmm.
dude that's supposed to be like representing the Queen of Hearts household, like he's a nut job that wants to off of people's heads stuff. I mean, they're very much. I mean, it's on Disney Plus, so like they're very much embodying these old villains, but like I don't know if I can judge it yet. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
no,
Like
no. I'm with you, but no, I can judge it.
I
I can
think
judge
it's
it.
I think it's good. I think it's great. I think it's cool. I just
Hmm.
don't know yet. It's probably be like an A for me. I don't know. Probably be
Okay.
like an A if I had to, if it kept going this way. Again, the Academy thing is going to throw me off, but
I don't think this was going to end as A for you, bro. Even with episode 2, like we really didn't get that much deeper into the storyline. They did,
yeah,
obviously after the little cat fire demon left, they were kicked him out. One thing they picked up, the off with your heads, he had to use his magic wand and
yeah,
lock the abilities or the
yeah,
magic of the cat. So I was like, okay, that was cool. But then they turn
yeah,
around in episode 2, the cat has his magic back. So in episode 2, the cat shows up
yeah,
again while the main character, the one who got isekai into
mm,
that world, while him and like two other people part of the Queen of Hearts dormitory were
mm,
like walking through
yeah,
the garden and looking at the statues of
yeah,
Scar, Maleficent, and Queen of Hearts,
yeah,
and they were kind of talking about the history, like, oh, these are the our heroes from the past. Like they don't call them villains, like these are
yeah,
our heroes from the past or whatever they call them, and we want to embody who they were because they were great leaders, great kings, great
yeah,
queens, and stuff like that. And then the fire cat shows up again and attacks them, and it was like, okay, what is the whole point behind this? And like he kind of defends them. I think he had like, I can't remember if he had like some type of magic or something. He was able to do something in order to stop the cat demon, but the show is very like kid friendly for me, which is not a bad thing. It's just it's not really something I'm
it's
looking
on
to.
Disney Plus.
If you,
Yeah,
yeah, if you like Disney and if you like the Disney villas and everything, like they have
yeah,
like the Disney Descendants, where it's like the kids
yeah,
of like the it's like
yeah.
live action where the kids are
Trust me,
of the
I had to
villains.
watch that.
Trust me,
Yeah,
I did too. So if you like that stuff like that, then yeah, this is
yeah,
definitely a show that you can look forward to. If you're really big into Disney, which I do like Disney, then you
yeah.
definitely probably be interested to watch this.
I mean,
But everything
dude,
I've
this is a
seen so
low A.
far,
It's a very low A.
it's
It's
a
like
it's a very mid B for me. Like,
really.
and the fact like
It's just
it's going to be school. It's
I
going to
can't.
be
I mean,
school
yeah,
and
I
just talking
can't
about
judge it.
Disney villains.
I'm giving it the low A because it's just like it was cool. I mean, it's a cool little concept, like
Had
a
a little
cool little
good
tone.
animation, yeah,
And
good little
so
fight scene.
I'll give it a B. I'm cool with that. I don't even care
High
what
B.
this one.
Let's give it a high B. Let's be fair to it. High B.
We putting it above Gatherers.
To just to put it in the middle of your low A and my B, let's put it above Gatherers for
Okay, okay, all right. I'll give you that. I'll give you that one.
now.
Last two are yours, brother. So the next one is going to be the Banished Court Magician aims to become the strongest.
This one was good. I actually enjoyed this. So
Oh,
obviously
okay.
we've had the whole trope of kicked out of the heroes party,
Yeah,
banished from the heroes party and stuff like that.
yeah,
And like I expected it to be the same thing, but I feel like it's different. So the story is where begins where he's a little kid and he ends up meeting this adult in the woods, like probably not adult, like 17, 18, 19-year-old guy
yeah,
in the, I know, right? In the woods. Good thing it's not, you know what I mean? But and he's like, oh, you seem to be like a strong magician and whatnot, like can you teach
yeah,
me? So we do like a little montage of him training
yeah,
him to use magic, and at the end of it he's like, hey, I gotta leave. I gotta leave the kingdom. He's like, why are you leaving the kingdom? He's like, just take this from me. Don't become a court magician. That's his final words to
yeah.
him. Don't become a
I
court
watched the
magician.
first episode of this, so I remember that part. Yeah,
And he's like, oh, okay, but why did you teach me magic if you don't want me to be a court magician? He's like, I'm doing it for your mother or father. I couldn't remember which one of them.
yeah, something like that.
And then obviously we get a time skip, and he's a court magician, and it's like, okay,
All right,
he's a court magician, and he's a part of. So he's a court magician, but the king of that kingdom told him to join his sons, the crown prince's party, and adventure
yeah,
with him to like go to the dungeon and to defeat the
yeah,
dungeon and
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah,
Now we don't know exactly the reasoning behind that yet. We will in later in episodes, but for right now, he was told to do this. Well, he's a part of the crown prince's party, and obviously they have a magician, they have a shield guy, and the crown prince is like, you know what, get out. And he's like, why? He's like, because you can't do anything. Like the magician, she's doing these great big old spells to defeat the monsters. Our tank, he's blocking and making sure that we don't get hurt. And you just use support magic. He's like, but like he doesn't like really fully explain himself. He's just like taken aback, like, I don't understand. Like, am I not doing my job? He's like, well, you're not doing what I expect. You're not doing it to the level of my party. So leave. And then he kicks him out of the party, and then he ends up finding out the next. He's like, oh, I need to warn him because he keeps on saying I have to warn the prince. I can't let him just go by himself. He's going to get hurt. So he tries to go back to the kingdom because you would think he's still the crown prince, and they tell him like you're fired as the crown, not the crown prince, the court magician. He's like, you're fired as the court magician too. You're not allowed to come in. So he's like, well, at least take this and give it to the crown prince. And on this note is like all the information he needs to know to continue to explore the dungeon. Because if he doesn't know this information, he feels like he's going to die. Well, he accepts his punishment. He leaves and like goes back out into like regular town. And he ends up running into a childhood friend. Well, we get a backstory about the childhood friend. Apparently, him, her, and two other people, a guy, a spirit guy, and a girl who uses magic, they were all part of a party. So, say in their world, they go to like a high school or whatever training academy where they learn to be adventurers, learn to make their like a magic academy where they learn to become more powerful, learn how to fight monsters and explore the dungeons. Well, they were the top of their class. They were the best party that has ever been historically in that magic academy. They managed to like there was a school record where the best in history was able to get down to the 32nd level. Well, they reached the 68th level. That's how awe inspiring this party was. Well, as their graduation, like when they were supposed to be graduating, they had just reached the 68th floor. They come back, everybody's like, "Oh shit, you broke the record. No one's ever going to defeat your record. You guys are the most powerful, and like we can't wait to see what you are going to become in the future." Well, as they're walking away from graduation, he's like, "Hey, I'm going to be a court magician, guys." Like his father, I believe, like they like alluded to it. His father is currently the court magician, and he's like, I need to give my father a break. Maybe they were just saying that because they made a comment about how court magicians get paid well. So maybe it was more of a, hey, I'm going to be a court magician so that my father can finally stop working and I can take care of him. And they're like, hey, obviously we want you to be a part of our party. We're going to be the best out there. No one's going to be able to defeat us, but we understand you got to do this. So time skip, he's now part of the court magician party. He gets kicked out or banished, and then now he finds the girl again, and she's like, hey, I didn't want to like intrude upon you, but we want you back. We want you to rejoin the party. So eventually he rejoins the party. Now, again, this party is super OP. Like this, the whole gimmick with the other shows where I was kicked out of the heroes party. Obviously, that person ends up being like super powerful, and you start thinking that, but we end up finding out that he was sandbagging. So apparently, the king told him not to like be a bagger. Don't do too powerful spells because I don't want you to overshadow the crown prince. I just want you to be there to support them. So even though his main magic type is attack magic, he decided to teach himself support magic just so that he doesn't overshadow the crown prince. So that whole incident with him being kicked out because you're not doing enough, you're not as grand like we are, was all because he was just trying to follow the king's rules. So now that he's back with his party, they're like, hey, why aren't you the same way as you before? He's like, I'm still in that whole motion of kind of sandbagging and being more careful of the type of spells that I'm using. Like they asked him one time, like, why do you always use Thunderbolt as your main magic? He's like, because it's fast. And then he has like a flashback to the Crown Prince. It's the fastest magic he can use because the Crown Prince will always put himself in situations where he needs to quickly use a spell in order to defeat the monster or to save the Crown Prince. So that's become like his thing. So we know how we always get the little trope where the party that he got kicked out of realizes, oh, we were only good because of him. So we do go through that whole little motion where they realize like, oh, we're not able to get further in the dungeon because he's not here. He was actually doing something, that support magic. And then he even confronts his father about it, and his father tells him straight up like, hey, I had a magician a long time ago. He was a noble. A long time ago, who essentially told me that, hey, the way that we treat the common folk in this kingdom is really bad. And I'm going to learn my lesson if I don't start to treat them better. Well, he finally, that guy, he ended up like firing him as a noble, or what was it called when they are no longer noble anymore? Yeah, well, that banished them. So more like just brought him down. He's now common folk. Well, he went to the Magic Academy, ended up being the top of the class. He was probably the one who made that first 32 floor levels down. And then he comes back to the kingdom and he's like, hey, I was the top of the class. make me a court magician. So he became the court magician, and his whole point was to show the king that, hey, you're not utilizing your people the way you need to. You're bringing down the common folk because
Yeah.
you believe nobles are better. Eventually, he reached enough where he said, "You know what? I gotta go." Lo and behold, it's the same guy who taught old boy when he
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
young
That
kid.
makes sense.
So he ends up leaving the kingdom like, "Hey, you're not listening
Yeah.
to me. I'm just going to leave." And that's why
Mhm.
he told him when he was younger, like, "Hey, I gotta leave the kingdom."
Yeah.
So when the son confronts the father, he's like, "Hey, he's just a lowly common folk. Like, why is it that it seemed like I need him?" It's like, listen, son, you're a fucking idiot. This guy was super powerful. He was the top of his class. He broke records that no one was able to break, and you kicked him
Hmm.
out. You fucked up. You made a mistake, and you need to fix that mistake. Because
Hmm.
because of him, I now know the common people are great. They have the potential
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be great. So you need to go get him.
Makes sense.
So he obviously goes through the whole run where he goes to find him and says, "Hey," and it's not like a pompous, "Hey, you need to come back to me because you can't do anything without me." He comes to him actually modest, and he's like, "Hey,
Oh,
you were powerful. We
my
do
bad.
need you. I did read the notes that you gave me because like they ripped it up and like threw it in the air when he tried to give it to the
Yeah.
crown prince. I read those notes and I realized that you were a lot more intelligent than I first realized. You knew
Yeah.
my personality. You knew the dungeon. Obviously, to get the
Hmm.
notes that you were able to achieve, you had to hit that floor by yourself
Yeah. Yeah.
many of times and defeated that floor just to be able to
Yeah.
give me the notes that I'm going to need in order to defeat that floor. And you know my personality, like you know how I'm going to act, how I'm going to move. So your notes were tailored to me. I need you back. We want you back. We apologize for what we did. Here's your because they took like his cape, his court magician cape. Here's your court magician cape. My father said that you can come back whenever you're ready. So he's like, is this an order? Or he's like, no, this is not an order. When you're ready to come back, you can come back. He's like, I'm probably not going to come back. And then he accepts that and he leaves. Now that's done. I guess probably down the line is going to come back again, but right now it's done. So he's going back with his party, and the party is very powerful. Again, this was the top party back in the days. They end up having to do some type of mission where essentially the guild master told them that, hey, if he doesn't join your party, I can't let y'all do this mission. They're like an A class, they're A rank party. So he's like, hey, if he joins you though, I'll let y'all do it. Well, he ends up joining them, and they do the mission. The mission was to save a S rank party because they went to a certain part of the dungeon, and in this part of the dungeon, no one's ever been there before. One of the party members came back and said, "Hey, my party's out there dying. We need somebody to rescue them. So this is a rescue mission." They go on a rescue mission, and they're able to defeat the undead monster through many efforts. Not really going to get into it, but they were able to defeat the undead monster. And when they came back, the S rank party said, "Hey, we're going to go ahead and put you in, or recommend that your party now becomes S rank." So their whole dream, now that the party's back together, is to become the most powerful party there is. And the Lancer said, like, hey, the only way that we can truly get your get back for what the kingdom did to you is to become the most powerful party, so that they will have to recognize that they made a mistake. Obviously, they recognize they made the mistake already, but that's the dream now, to do what we said we are going to do in high school, to become the top party ever in the world. So honestly, it's pretty decent. I'm not. It's not an S. It's not an S. I'm not overzealous with it. Like, oh, it's an S. I think it is definitely a though. And I will put it right above the second one. May I ask for one more thing? So
Okay.
I think it's definitely an A. It's definitely something I think you would like. If you, I know you're tired of the whole banished, kicked out of Heroes Party, but it's
Yeah.
different. It is that,
Okay.
but it is
I'll
different. It's
definitely,
more to
I'll
it.
definitely, I'm definitely gonna check that one out. I mean, there's two so far. Like, I'm gonna even check out May I Ask for One Final Thing, to be honest. So I'll check that one.
Definitely,
Check that one out
definitely.
as well. Last one on the list. Fujimoto Tatsuki 1726. That one's yours as well. Something I was going to check out, but I heard that it was just like different. I know that it's different. Every episode is like a different anime. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
different, and that's like a Star Wars Visions thing. So if you want to give us a quick synopsis on that one, and like how good or bad each one of these is, it's very hard to rate an entire show when every episode is a different show.
No, no, I feel you. I feel you. So Tatsuki Fujimoto. So first off, who is Tatsuki Fujimoto? He's the writer of Chainsaw Man. So that's
Yes.
just to kind of prelude with that. He's the writer of the Chainsaw Man, and
Yeah.
what this series is, these are short stories that he wrote when he was 17 to 26 years old. That's why it's Tatsuki
Yeah.
Fujimoto 17 to 26. And then they actually put those stories together and they made like a multi
Well,
manga for it.
anthology
Yeah,
thing.
look,
Yeah.
yeah, like an anthology. So they decided, hey, Chainsaw Man is popping. Rize arc just recently
Yeah.
came
Yeah.
out. We're gonna go ahead and animate this. So it is 8 episodes long, and like you said before, each episode is a different story.
Yeah.
First, I want to comment on the progression of the episodes and kind of how you can
Mhm.
see his writing style is starting to change. When
I
it
feel like
first,
that would be main thing is like you see like the first episode is gonna be different than like the like
mhm.
art style, storytelling, conversate like you like because he's getting better.
I would say less art style because again, this is like different studios. I think it was like 6 studios and 7 different directors all put their
Oh,
hand to
okay,
play
gotcha. Okay.
into creating this. So it starts off, you can tell like he was 17 years old. Like the story is
Yeah.
super simple. A lot of the like earlier stories is about young puberty, having sex for the first time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Episode 1 is about, apparently there was an alien invasion where the aliens essentially wiped out humanity. There's very few humans who are left on the planet.
Okay.
They're in hiding. Well, they decided, hey, we love Earth culture so much. We're going to stay on your planet. Now that we've wiped you all out, we're going to stay on your planet and we're going to pretend to be humans. We're going to go to school like we're humans. We're going to work every day like we're humans. So that's the setting of this world. Well, our main character is, he's one of the aliens, and he's really less of a main character, but he's kind of a main character. He's going to the school, and then he meets a big, like, I'm pretty sure you like saw the big yellow girl in the little Japanese school uniform with the horns coming out her mouth. Like, so that's like his girlfriend or a girl who really likes him. Really not really integral to the story whatsoever. Well, they're going to school, and he's like telling her like, "Hey, I need to feed the chickens before we go to class." When he goes out to feed the chickens, we see that there's 2 humans with damn chicken head costumes on top of their head. So they think, and they kind of explain it like aliens aren't able to distinguish humans from animals. They just use like their facial features. They can look at a human's face and be like, okay, that's a human or that's an animal. Well, they only eat humans. They don't eat chickens. So with the little chicken costume heads on, they're just feeding them like they're chickens. Like, oh, I need to go out and feed the chickens every day. So when obviously he goes back to class, we see the chickens or the humans again, and they're like talking about how, hey, this is we had to put these chicken heads on because it was eating everybody, and this is now our life. They bring them food, put it into a bucket, and they eat the food out of the bucket. Well, while they're talking, like the main character again, he comes back outside, but they don't see him. He's like standing in the doorway of where the area that they're in, and they're just talking about being humans like out loud for some fucking reason. Like the whole world isn't all aliens, but he overhears them, and then he like confronts them like, "You're humans." And they're like, no, they're like, cluck, 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 bonk. It's like, no, I heard you. You're humans. And it's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna try to eat us now? He's like, no, no, no. I don't wanna kill you. I came out here to warn you. I guess he picked up on their humans before. That
Yeah.
there's a new person coming, a new alien who's going to be transferring to their school. And from where he's from, they do eat chickens. So he's like, I'm here to warn you that someone's coming, and even though you're chickens or you claim to be chickens, he's going to try to eat you guys. And they're like, oh shit, then we need to go. He's like, hey, I know a place, follow me. But once like that moment happened, we switch over to the classroom. The student comes in, like big old alien, and he's like, oh, I realize I'm about to cover every single one of these. I'm not going to cover every single one of these, I promise. This one was interesting. That's why I wanted to point this one out. And he's like, oh, like they tell him like, somebody asks him like, hey, is it true that you eat chickens? He's like, yeah, I love chicken. And everybody like, ew, that's disgusting. We only eat humans. He was like, no, chickens are good too. And they're like, well, we actually have chicken in our backyard. And he's like, chicken? I'm sorry. Chicken? And then he like
Wow,
starts
wow, wow.
he starts
Wow, wow, wow.
he starts like monstering out, and then he like
Yeah.
jumps through the window, and then he lands in the schoolyard, and then he starts turning into a big ass alien monster, like
Yeah.
a huge monster. Like you probably seen the little a
I
clip
saw
of
the
that.
clip. Yeah, yeah.
And then when they see that, the main character alien like grabs him and starts running, and then he's chasing after him, and eventually they get out into this open field, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna have to fight him. They
Yeah.
fight. The little girl is able to get away, and he ends up beating the big alien dude. The little girl gets away. Well, that's the end of the episode, kinda. They end up giving like a conclusion of it all, little synopsis where they say that hey, she did end up getting away, but not too much longer after all the humans were discovered and they were all killed. And that's the end of the first episode. So that one was good, but then we start getting into other things where like the short stories were kind of like very immature. Like there's the next one where the kid is like in love with his teacher, and then the dude comes in and says, hey, I loved you back in high school, but you curved me, and I'm going to kill you now. She's like, oh, I'll do anything. He's like, oh, you'll do anything. And he's like, will you have sex with me? And she's like, okay, I guess. But the little boy who's in love with her, he's like, no, you can't do that. And the dude shoots at him. He catches the bullet. He's like, oh, I'm from the future. But he's not from the future. He's lying. I don't even know how to catch the bullet. Like, they don't even explain that whatsoever. And then he's like, you're going to get married. You're going to go to jail. But when you get out of jail, you're going to get married and everything. And then that was the end of that story. Like, it was kind of boring. Now, all of that, a whole bunch of short stories, like some of them were good. There was one where the dude was like half mermaid and everything. Not really important. What is important though, there is an episode 7. It's called Nayuta of the Prophecy. If you're a big Chainsaw Man fan, or you just read into the future, you may know, spoiler alert, that the main character Makima, she's eventually going to die in the story, and she's going to be reincarnated as a girl named Nayuta. So episode 7 of this little short film is kind of like a prelude to the Nayuta that we're going to see in the future of Chainsaw Man, where she's a little girl who with demon horns, and she has like magic abilities, where she has the ability to like create swords and everything. She's like a control demon somewhat, but she has additional abilities. But her big brother is trying to protect her and protect everyone else by keeping her sane. Like, hey, you can't do that. You can't kill small animals and stuff like that. She hasn't killed any humans as yet, but she's created a world-class I can't even think of the word, like a big world event where a whole bunch of swords like flying in the sky, picking up tanks and everything like that. And he stops her and says, I'm going to take her away, and she's not going to hurt anyone ever again. And the story ends. Well, she is the idea that Tatsuki had before he created Chainsaw Man. That is the Nayuta that she is going to be based off. So if you want to see a story that's going to be that is somewhat related to Chainsaw Man, because you love Chainsaw Man, that's definitely one that you want to check out. Episode
1 and 7 are the only good episodes.
I would say episode 1, 4, and 7 and 8. Episode 4 was about a assassin, like the girl. She was like beat up on by her parents when she was young, and they didn't care about her because she had like a sick personality. She ends up becoming an assassin, and she gets a call from a order. Well, she goes and finds out what the order is, and ends up being a vampire. He's like, I just want to die. I want you to kill me. Well, she's like, okay. Gets up on the table with a shotgun and blows his head off. And obviously he regenerates again. Like, oh, you failed me. I guess you can't do it. Well, she's all in her feelings, and then she realizes, I love this guy. Well, she
I'll watch them anyways, but yeah.
Watch it. This one was actually a pretty good one. Where she gets into like a shootout with a whole bunch of cops and everything. They're like shooting her ear off, shooting her at her in the window, and it's like coming off, shooting her in the ears, clips her in the head and stuff like that. And eventually the vampire is like, hey, she's interesting. My life has been so boring that I just wanted to die, but I like her. So he goes and saves her and turns into a vampire, and they end up being a vampire couple. So I think that was a pretty good one too. There are a few on here that are like, don't bother with. Obviously, they're not that long. Some of them like 10-minute episodes, some 15-minute episodes. So you can check it all out. But I think definitely 1, 4, 7, and 8 are pretty good ones.
Cool. Where are you putting it in as a whole?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. As a whole, that's hard because there's so many
5,
differences with all of them.
I mean, 50-50, 8 episodes.
It really, I would say 4 episodes are good. One or two are like decent, and the last two are like, why did you even animate this? So I would probably give it an overall A, because the ones that are good are really good, and the ones that are bad are like, like this was kind of boring. But I would definitely put it at the bottom of the A. So yeah, A.
Okay. All right, yeah, I mean, those three that are in A right now at the bottom, I'm definitely going to be checking out for our end season review there. So, but we got two S's, four A's, and three B's already. Ooh, that's kind of wild. I mean,
Well,
there's
one
going to be
of
some
them should be
extras.
going up.
Yeah, there's going to be some extras I'm definitely going to be checking out anyways. There's a couple that aren't on here that didn't make the list because I didn't look at them yet. But I'll definitely check those ones out. If there's anything down here that you guys haven't seen or want us to recommend for us to check out before the end season comes and drops, please let us know. Again, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. We love you. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.